Thanks for staying with us. You're watching This Morning. Our attention is turned to BVAS, money politics, and other matters arising as regards the 2023 general election. Constitutional lawyer, human rights activist, and chancellor, pro-chancellor, and chairman of the governing council at Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba Akoko, Dr. Tunji Abayomi, is my guest this morning. Let's quickly take Ada's call. She's called in from Jos. Good morning, Ada.
Hello, this is me and Tunja Abayomi. So Ada calling from Jos Plateau State. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
BVAS is a game changer. At least, just like your guest said there, it will be very difficult to rig election this time around. And let me tell you something. If not for this new electoral something that Buhari signed, which I commend him for, I, for what I've been voting all along, but after that 2019 election, I swore I won't vote again, and so many people too. So I thank God he did that. So there'll be an improvement, you know. The money politics, it will not work. So people will chop people's money, but there's no way to show evidence that you voted for them, because the INEC has now provided another, they are repositioning their polling booths, you know, those polling boxes in such a way that you cannot really show that you voted for somebody, and you're not allowed to take cameras there and all that. So that's a welcome development. Then for the candidates, all I want to say here is that it's not do or die. For me, I'm not losing sleep. And the three front runners, the much I know is that they can deliver. They can, fix this country, provided we practice true, that fiscal federalism, which we refer to as true federalism. The problem in Nigeria is that we have a faulty structure. So that's what is making it difficult for us to gain the difference of democracy. President Buhari, I wouldn't say he's a write-off. He didn't achieve anything, even though some of the opposition parties say he's F9 parallel. That's rubbish. F9 parallel, the president still scored marks. He did a lot in infrastructure. He has done a lot in infrastructure development. But because of the hunger in the land and the insecurity, that's what is overshadowing it, you know. So that is it. But what I commend him for now is that he has made up his mind that he wants to leave a legacy. At least, if nothing else, let him leave a legacy of a free, fair, and credible election. And we should now vote based on the three C's: character, competence, and capacity. Somebody who will be able to cut down the cost of governance. That's the problem we have. Somebody who will end this medical tourism. You lead by example. Let them fix one hospital that is world class, where the president can access medication and his family and every other person, you know. So, and the others will follow. So that is the problem. Let us start from there. All the time, let's not give up in this country. Shall do well. Okay,
Thank you so much, Ada, for your contributions. Dr. Abayomi, we were talking about how poverty has become an instrument of manipulation in the hands of the political class. So you watch videos online where politicians give cash to the poor, and that now serves as a platform of endorsement, you know, where Nigerians now say, oh, he's a good man because he has given me money. Whereas if the issue of poverty wasn't there, we would have moved up to, you know, better indices to judge his capacity as a leader.
It's actually a tragic situation. It's not, I demonstrated it when I was running at one time for governor.
Which state?
Ondo
State, okay.
Yes. You have a situation, I was explaining to the people a situation where the politicians, some politicians, well, first of all, they're in government, embezzle the money, the wealth of the people, and then they now use it to harass the people, to entice the people. But because money is so essential to life, the people will go almost to the pit of hell for that money. I took a bundle at that time, $10,000, naira, and I flung it to them. And the people, they pushed me down. And they rushed to grab part of that money.
Why did you fling it?
I fling it. I wanted to demonstrate the tragedy of money. And I'm essentially saying what you're saying. In other words, we have a situation where the wealth of the nation, the money is stolen. When it's stolen, the people become poorer. When the people become poorer, they become desperate for money. And the man who stole the money comes to them, oh, you need me because I have the money. As a matter of fact, they now tell the people that, look, don't vote for your son, who is actually more interested in developing you because he has no money. You know? So, but how do we resolve this problem? The first thing is that we have we must have a leader who understands the tragedy, the equation of disorder, so to say.
Let me hold you for a minute. George has called in from Ikeja. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Mr. Emin, and greetings to the elder statesman there.
Yes. Okay.
Mr. Emin, there is this narrative that politicians have sold to the youth, that it is the elders that is the pain of their problems, that it is because they are elders, that's why the mismanagement is taking place. But the truth is that it's not true. Take, for example, President Buhari is 80 years now. He is known to be somebody that has never stolen a kobo from the federal court.
And he talks about it.
What I'm trying to make is that it is not age that determines your credibility or your input to governance. Unfortunately, the youth have been made to buy that wrong narrative. Yesterday, after you shut down Kano, I want you to play the video and tell me how many of those people in that crowd are above 50 years of age. Most of them are youths. Most of his mentees are youths. Those who are governors, vice presidents, commissioners, directors in MBAs today, they got to those positions when they were in their 30s, sometimes below 30, like the elder statesman said there about his son. That's how these people got there. But over time, the youth have been made to believe that it is the age of somebody that makes him not to do well. No, that is not true. For example, look at the crime rate in Nigeria. Go to the police records. How many people above 50 have been found to be criminals or arrested as robbers and kidnappers and all that? So if you were to even talk about age, it is among the youths, you will find those that are wrecking the country. Is Hush Puppy. How old is Hush Puppy? You know him. So that narrative must change.
So we will require, Mr. George, a more scientific and detailed data to be able to argue which of the age stratum of the society, performs more crime. But from where I'm seated, I would say that crime is with everybody, with the young and with the old. Would you agree? You will find criminals among the young, as well as among the old. I think is off the line. But the point I'm trying to make, which I think you made earlier, was the fact that how do we deal with this money politics issue? And you have said that we need somebody who understands the tragedy.
Yes.
But then we're still in a fix. Yes. Because as we are right now, the process through which that individual will emerge is highly monetized. Yes. You have agreed earlier also that that's not going to change anytime soon. As a matter of fact, it is hard to run an election in Nigeria now without spending money.
Well, let me say
no matter how tight-fisted you think you are.
Nifemi, let me say this. It is difficult to run for election anywhere without money. Whether it's in America or Britain or South Africa or Mali, it is difficult to run for election without any money. The issue is not that you need plenty of money to run for election. Because modern election is about the use of money.
But it's the vote buying dimension that we're talking about. Exchanging money for votes.
The vote buying dimension will disappear. People buy vote. Is anybody forced to vote? Nobody is ever forced to vote. Even the so-called vote buying, people were not forced to vote for a particular. You can see change your mind. The point is that in most cases, vote buying is possible because you are willing to sell your vote for a candidate you believe in. You don't sell your candidate in most cases for candidates you don't believe in.
You think so?
Yes.
Not many people will agree with you, Dr. Bayomi. You give a poor Nigerian 10,000 naira. Somebody who could not afford, a 3 square meal. You don't think that would change his or her mind as to who?
Let me give you a simple...
After all, what's the value of a vote for somebody who has not eaten or who has not taken breakfast?
A whole lot of people, there will be a minority, naturally, who will change. But what I'm telling you is that the majority that receive money, they receive money from candidates they believe in.
That they initially support.
The only thing is that they insist that, look, you are my candidate, but you must give me money for me to vote.
Yet another position subject to data. Let us take Maz's call from Okorafo. Good morning.
Good morning. That's Maz Okorafo from Arochukwu in Abia State. Good morning, Mr. Anife. Good morning, Dr. Bayo.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, sir. You see, the situation now in Nigeria is that when we talk about money politics, money. You see, the level of awareness in terms of voting and perception is another problem. And the level of education in terms of the voters and the perception of issues. You see, like what we were just saying some minutes ago, the vote by about in terms of level of poverty. The way I see this, the way I have seen it historically and digitally, the vote buying this time around have a question mark. Because if you check right now, 10 square meal is very hard to get. And even if you get, is it a balanced diet or bread and mineral? No? Or is it correct? So the thing is this. Nigeria have to decide within themselves what they want. If they want to move based on the manifesto of a political party or the candidate, they go towards it. But if they want to based on sentiment and based on toxic money collection, the sky is their limit. Who is going to suffer? Is it the candidate suffering? It is the masses that will suffer it. So I call on Nigerians, collect your voters, GVC, sit down and then think within yourself. Forget about whether this man endorses this man is not. To me, endorsement cannot move on with this present 2023. Why?
Thank you, Mazi Okorofa, for your contribution. So a lot of sentiments have determined how Nigerians have voted in the past. Call it regional sentiment, religious sentiment, money sentiment, like we've talked about. But would you say that the pre-2023 election, have we had a platform where that is viable enough, that has engaged the major candidates enough, such that majority of Nigerians can make decisions based on the interaction they have had with these candidates? Because usually you find out that many of these campaigns are shrouded with a lot of propaganda on the face of the newspaper. It's what the parties are saying. Unlike in more developed countries where even during primary election, you see the candidates stand to debate policies and issues, and they are questioned by the electorate. There are opinion polls. There are a lot of reactions coming from different stakeholders. Do you think that our politics have matured to the point where Nigerians really can tell who is the best out of this candidate and decide based on the things that gathered?
Determining the best among candidates is not just interaction during electioneering. I mean, there are quite a number of issues that preoccupy even in Western countries. Before, for example, you become a candidate for president in America, you must have gone through several schools, and through a lot of experiences.
You're talking about the track record.
Track record. People will judge you. What have you achieved? What have you done? What is your standing on issues? What contribution can you make? And so on and so forth. So they look at your life, the trajectory, So, but I do agree with you, however, that there is a need to increase interaction, because there are times change.
Indeed, people change.
And people change. So what you stood for a few years ago may not be the issue that is preoccupying us today. I mean, just a simple thing like COVID-19 came. It was, the world was under siege.
By the way, the world is changing fast.
And the world is changing.
What worked some decades ago
it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. In the last 20 years, information technology has revolutionized human thinking. We're not even sure now that a new creature, It will not be possible in a short time in human evolutionary progression. So I do agree that there's a need for interaction in order to be assured that the leader will be able to push us not only into this time, but into the future.
I'd like us to talk about how we can evolve that system.
Yes.
Maybe even constitutionally.
Yes.
To a point where we can't vote in Nigeria without having explored all the platforms that gives the electorate the opportunity to examine each candidate, to question them, to hear from them. But let me take this call from Warri. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Kelvin. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello?
I can hear you, Kelvin. Please go ahead.
Okay. Actually, let me appreciate the anchor person and the elder statesman there in the studio. Sincerely speaking, the issue of what INEC has said or INEC has done, I think is an eye-opener to every Nigerian. We cannot actually remove money politics slightly from the state of affairs as we speak now. As the elder spokesperson has already said there now, poverty in the nation due to the impoverishment made by our leaders who are there today. Those who are listening, they are listening. They have impoverished Nigeria due to their bogus allowances and other ways they diverted money that ought to be used for consulting projects and other things for their personal issues, has made so many proportion of citizens to be impoverished. And so, actually, when you give them little money, it's like in form of inducement in order to make them vote a particular candidate who actually is not fit for a position. But by the grace of God, we are believing God that things have turned in the other way due to the electoral act that has been done now. And with what citizens have seen, it will not be as business as usual any longer for politicians. People are no longer going to vote for, even if people collect their money and eat their money and still vote for the person of their choice. That is what I'm seeing in this year's election. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for your contributions. So the office of the president is perhaps the most important job in Nigeria. You know, as a broadcast journalist, if you want to get a job, you send your video reel, which shows a demonstrated work history of what you've done in the past. But at some level during the interview, your person is required. There's a level 2 interview where you come and meet the board. Your stand will look at you. How do you look now? How do you speak now? Do you understand the current situation? You know, what is your skill with the current tools needed in the industry? How do we evolve our electoral system? You know, INEC is so much concerned about the logistics, the technology, which is great. But we must also evolve it to a point where we can examine these candidates. I mean, to the teeth. You want to become president for crying out loud.
The point is that it will continue. The agitation and the pressure will continue. Like everything that raises its head. I mean, it's not going to happen immediately, but as the pressure mounts and it increases, it will happen. It's just like when we were fighting for democracy against the military. Initially, it was, a conquest over us, but eventually we triumphed because the pressure continued and is mounting. So I believe that the fourth estate, the media constituency, journalists and so on and so forth, should continue to do the work for this nation, to put, to challenge those who want to lead us and raise questions that are essential.
Do you think it's going to be a constitutional matter?
I don't
think it will evolve.
It's already a constitutional matter because there's a provision for media, freedom of expression. In this country, rarely do you...
But the candidates are not bound by law, to the extent of standing for the
but we must also... we must also respect their right to choose whether they want to win or fail. Yeah, that's just the point. For example, your right to, it's part of the pressure of the time, of public pressure, that, look, we want to know about you. If, for example, you don't want people to know about you, well, you can decide that, But to insist that you must open yourself up may also be a violation of the right of personal, liberty of,
Our system must now work to the intent where it will become practically impossible for you not to open up, because you won't be able to win elections if you don't open up.
Yeah, and that is happening.
Yes.
If you look at what is going on in the social media, you know that whether you may decide not to open up, but you will be opened. People are opening you.
Citizen journalism. Okay, let's talk to Garba. Garba's called in from Benue. Good morning, Garba.
Good morning to you people there. Compliment of the season.
Wish you the same.
My take on this issue is that I salute INEC. I salute INEC for the wonderful job that they are doing. And I'm urging on Nigerians to desist on any distraction that will distract INEC chairman on what they are doing. Then lastly, issue of endorsement. Nigerians have already made up their mind who they will vote for. If you like endorse anybody you want to endorse, they've already made up their mind. Your endorsement will not change anything. How many people there was a candidate before? If it change anything, it will not change anything. The endorsement on the voter, electorate, they are the one that will determine who will be the president of Nigeria, not this individual, whoever he is in Nigeria, have an idea about it.
Oh, I think we lost Dr. Garba. Thank you so much for your contribution. We're wrapping up now, Dr. Abayomi. Let's talk about how you think that, what is the role of the security agencies, at least to an extent?
I thought you were going to talk about the endorsement.
Oh yes, I don't know.
All your callers keep talking about.
We have spoken about it a lot this week. I'm almost getting tired of it.
Yeah, let's talk
but
about
I know
security.
that, if you want to talk about it, it's okay. But I know your position as regards the
your callers keep talking.
What role do you see security agencies play in this money politics of a thing? We haven't seen much prosecution in
There's not much.
election.
Believe me, there's not much. The electoral process now, money will continue, will not determine winnability, but it will determine affection. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Yeah. I mean, it's important to appreciate that, because our tendency is to demonize money. There's nothing wrong with money. Money is essential for life. I mean, it was a nation is worthy when it has wealthy people. The issue for this nation is not about it will make no sense to hate the wealthy in Nigeria. What the person we should hate is a man who became wealthy by taking our wealth. That's the issue. If, for example, you do your business and you do your business with government, as long as it is legitimate and you become wealthy, there's nothing wrong with it. So that's the issue that I think we need to focus on. We need wealthy people. Because money is essential. It's only the wealthy that knows how to make wealth.
Are you also saying we need wealthy people to become president as well?
How do you become president without becoming wealthy? It's almost impossible anywhere
Lawyer,
in the world.
rights activist, Chancellor and Chairman,
Thank you.
Governing Council for Adekunle Adeosun University, Dr. Tunji Abayomi. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Don't worry, there will still be more endorsements, and you will return to talk about them. That's our show this morning.
I'm interested in endorsing myself.